bags are packed, are you ready to go? This time tomorrow we'll be on the road, riding with you in the sunnier days. I wouldn't want it any other way.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Children of Éarte. We're so excited to see you tonight. Thank you for being here with us. As usual, we will hop right over to Adam to find out all about our sponsors.
I'm going to try to do this very fast where we can leave as much playtime as possible tonight. Thank you, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. You can grab an Electrum chess code with the overlay or bouncing around in chat. Thank you, Die Hard Dice. Oh, I've got to slow down here, though, because we got new things. All right, so we got some new suggestions from YouTube9887 on YouTube comments. So I'm going to go through these, and we each get one. So for tonight, Die Hard has supplied our cast with Robin's Recall Rollers.
Oh,
that's
Robin's
amazing.
Recall Rollers.
All right.
Everybody's going to get their turn in the spotlight.
Amazing.
So thank you, YouTube9887. You can get 10% off your order at dieharddice.com with the code Éarte. And finally, tonight, you'll hear the dulcet tones of Sirenscape because epic games need epic sound. I am Adam Bradford, CDO at Demiplane. I am playing Silas Jordan Sorrell, your dimensionally displaced magical super fan.
You're getting better at that, Adam. It's like
So
rolling
much
right
better.
off every week, man. Hey, everybody, I'm Alicia Marie. Find me on socials at Alicia Marie Body. I'm a creative artist. I do costumes, make sculptures. I do a lot of creative stuff. And this week, my charity familiar launched into the Idol Champions of Forgotten Realms. She's very cute. You can pick her up. She's named after Misty Copeland, who is the first African-American ballerina to dance Supreme Ballerina premiere for the American Ballet Theater. And I actually, these flyers, because I'm a nerd, I printed out. She's adorable. And I brought her with. I made it.
Those eyes are so good.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. So I'm going to do, I wanted to mention, I'm going to be making another one because you do things better the second time you make it. I'm going to auction it off next month.
Wow.
You made that?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Wow. So the auction off. So you can follow me on socials. You'll find out information and be part of the charity auction or whatever we're going to call it. I am Alicia Marie and I'm playing Fairuza Armstrong, attorney at law.
Yay. I am Jen Kretchmer. You can find me online as @DreamWisp or streaming as DreamWisp Jen. I do not have a cool plushie to show off, but you can check out the work I'm doing. I'm a performer, author, disability consultant. I do all sorts of things, which you can find out about on socials. But tonight, I am playing your friendly neighborhood troublemaker, Maeve Morgan Flynn.
Hi, I'm Lauren Urban. I'm the content coordinator at Idol Champions of the Forgotten Realms and occasionally an oboist. You can find me on the socials as Obo Lauren, but tonight I am playing an octopus. No, wait, I'm playing Carolyn Neb Stern, who right now is an octopus.
Oh my gosh, is it my turn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was doing the order.
We're going fast.
Right,
We're going
right
fast.
through. We're going fast. Hi, my name is Hope LaVelle. You can follow me on Twitter at Hope LaVelle. And I don't normally like to plug things, but I'm super excited about this. So my 6-week adventure that I was dungeon mastering got picked up to be a full show. So yay! So
that's amazing.
Is now the Misfits of Alceta.
Oh,
super amazing show. It's still going to be on Wednesdays anyways. Check it out. Come join us. It's going to be really awesome. Okay, that's all. But tonight I am playing Robin Beckett. Okay, that's it.
I know I'm not any of your moms, but I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you all. And I know I'm not your mom, but I'm still proud of you. That's amazing. Look at all this cool
Dungeon
stuff.
Mom.
Dungeon Mom. Mm-hmm. We made
All
Dungeon
right,
Mom promise.
Alicia, that's my sweatshirt for next year. Dungeon Mom.
Yay.
Well, wonderful. I'm Deborah Ann Woll. I'm your storyteller for this evening. I'm so happy to be here yet again with my wonderful players. Josh, thank you from behind the screens here. And to all of you at home, please settle in with something warm and cozy to drink as we settle into chapter 36 of Children of Éarte. So last time you all had just made it down into this underwater sea lab. You had this incredible encounter with bioluminescent phytoplankton, as well as an octopus that showed up to eat a little and meet you. It got tiny for a short while there and was dropped off someplace safer. And then you all took a nice rest where you learned a little about yourselves and each other. And Robin spied just a little kind of misty, hazy green glow off in the dark distance. After that, you all suited up in your scuba gear and headed out to the sunken steamship. You are now about 30 feet from it at the bottom of the ocean. As I said, looking up, you can see that the storm has really taken hold. It is roiling up on the surface, but down here, it's relatively stable. As you look forward, you can see this ship, the back of it, or did I say, I think I said the back of it, the back of it is lodged kind of in the rocks that have kind of go up into the cliffs that go above the surface, and the front prow is sticking off over the edge of a steep drop off that goes down where the light does not penetrate into the depths. From here, you can see sort of the whole side of the ship, as well as the smokestack, huge smokestack that comes up through the center of this 180-foot long steamship. There are still some of the masts present with little pulleys on them, and the center bridge is also appears to remain intact. It's slightly cantered onto its side, but it is mostly, level.
Oh. So we're just swimming up and we just all of a sudden see
Yes.
this albatross.
So I
in the
will
water.
remind you, yes, you are all in your scuba gear. Air is only going to last you 30 to 60 minutes, depending on how you use it. We also have rules for your holding your breath. You can hold your breath for as many rounds as equals your constitution score, at which point, if you lose air, you will immediately be dying. And cannot be revived unless returned to air, not even by magic. You have flippers, so your speed remains the same. You are in wetsuits, so the cold does not currently inhibit you. Other than that, let's go.
Here we
What-
are.
How long did it take us to get to the point we are right in front of the ship, so I know how
You
long we need to get back?
you can look down at your dive computer and see that 8 minutes have elapsed.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to say roughly 10, so it gives us maybe 20 to 30 minutes before we need to start heading back. Okay, let's do this.
Okay. I guess so Fairuza's just gonna start flapping flippers and go ahead, Adam.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just saying, like, Silas is swimming probably more panicky, like, to wherever he thinks he can get inside of this thing, and because he wants to get out of the situation as quickly as possible.
Okay.
So he's not scared about what's on the ship. He's scared about dying in the middle of this open water.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you begin to, swim closer to the ship, you can see that the main entry point is going to be on this central bridge, the kind of quarter deck that sits on top of the main deck. You can see that there's sort of a lower area, a single story area with some doors that are currently closed, but that seem to go inside. Then there is a 2-story bridge, the sort of what would be called the flying bridge, closer to the front half of the ship. That has some broken glass and up at the top of it, as well as stairs and an enclosed area on the ground floor.
Okay.
Silas is going down
Okay.
because Silas is convinced whoever set all this up is a masochist that wants to put it in the hardest to reach place.
Mm-hmm.
So he is going to whatever, if he thinks that it looks more difficult to go down, which I think based on your description, it sounds
so down, you don't see there's no portholes, there are no access points that you can see on the lower half of the ship. It's a cargo ship, right? I
But
mean,
there's some
down
kind of stairs down, you said, though?
there are stairs from this flying bridge onto the main deck. Now, if you want to swim over the top, you could see maybe how access happens. I will offer, though, further towards the back, because you're looking for down and difficult areas. The thing slightly on the side, but where the back end has lodged, you can see the propeller and the 4-blade rudder.
Okay. This
Back
is
of
where
the ship.
Fairuza is sort of like, kind of like Silas. She has like
Mhm.
her radar up a little bit. So
Mhm.
she's keeping an eye on everyone else. But at this, she's just going to start, I guess, flipping so that she's sort of can see as much as possible to see if there's anything around the ship. I don't know if I should roll to see if I see anything, but it's
Yeah,
there's nothing.
we'll roll. You're looking at the like sea world around the ship or on the ship, or
Yeah, like just like, I mean, she's keeping an eye on where everybody is, but she
yes,
sort of just for a second just pulls back just to do,
perception check,
sort of
please.
this, just to check around real quick
Yeah,
before
perception check. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Perception, maybe. Yeah, 5.
5. You sense really kind of extraordinary displacements of water. Now, as you said, you guys have, just through logic and reasoning are assuming that there could be 20, 30-foot waves up at
Yeah.
the surface. But you can feel that large bodies of water are just being moved around. And even though you're only moving, the current's only pushing you a foot or a few inches side to side, that there are immense shifts in the water around here, which gives you a little pause. It does make things feel a little unstable.
Okay.
So I'm an octopus,
Mhm.
and Silas, I'm just gonna keep saying it because it makes me happy. Silas has made me light up, and
Yes,
so
that's right. That's
so
right.
my goal at this moment is to kind of stay in a central location between my 4 friends
Uh-huh.
to make sure that they all have light
Mm-hmm.
and can see each other and I can see them, because I
Sure.
feel like getting separated here could be real bad. So
Yeah.
whoever is kind of the most
Yeah.
towards the middle of the group, Neb just kind of scooches along and maybe like hangs over your head. And then as someone else becomes the middle of the group, she'll like just, on over and become the halo over your head. And that's all she's doing is like just
Okay.
keeping an eye on her friends.
Do we see? So I just wanted to. So with the propeller or whatever
Yes.
that's called, were you saying that it looked like there was an opening in the hull, or is it? I'm just saying. I'm ultimately, if there are no openings
Yes.
that are clear on the bottom of the ship, I
Yes.
would definitely swim up over. whatever I
So
need to see there.
the propeller has to connect to something. So there is probably some sort of axle connection towards the back. But that is the only, you don't see any cracks or major holes in the ship down here. So you're going to swim up above.
Yeah.
All right. So you now swim, getting yourself high enough and, being careful, checking your pressure as you go up a little bit to go above this. Over the top of the ship, you can see, the bridge much more clearly. Definitely the top, broken glass area of that flying bridge has a captain's chair and a steering wheel and a captain's wheel. The other area, there are doors to go inside to that sort of lower level. In the aft and in the fore, there are huge grates that have darkness beneath them, probably accessing a cargo hold. This is a cargo hatch. You can see that the masts that go up on, near them also have these pulleys with little hooks attached that would allow you to lower and raise cargo in and out of these hatches. Towards the front of the ship, which is the part that's sort of hanging over this cliff, here's where you can see, again, there probably are some interior rooms. There are a couple of portholes on the side of the ship over there, as well as another deck. There are lots of vents. Obviously, there's the big smokestack in the middle. There are a lot of vents that come up to provide air and ventilation for the lower parts of the ship.
And there are no little like look-throughy windows at the bottom, like you said. None
Not
of
at the
that's
bottom.
in
There are portholes on the bridge and in the front, like just under the forecastle, which will be that front deck.
I guess I'm gonna start at the top. I'm gonna start swimming toward the captain's chair
All
area.
right. Yeah, you swim over towards there. You can see there's broken glass. It already has that foggy appearance of having, currents and time swept past it. It doesn't look too sharp to you any longer. There are fish and barnacles, and life has just taken over. Whatever leather was on this chair, the smooth wood of the original captain's wheel is gone, covered in live growth. As you swim over, you can swim through the window if you'd like. There's also doors.
If as long as I think I will fit and not like snag my wetsuit or anything, I will go through the window.
All right. You can get through without snagging anything, and as I said, it doesn't look super sharp any longer.
Okay.
So you make your way in here. The water is stiller. You can already feel that some of the remaining walls are keeping some of the current from coming in. This room clearly at one point had a lot of, you can see a coffee cup in the corner, some ceramic that has just been smashed and left there for decades.
I'm going to rifle through everything.
Great. Give me an investigation check.
If you can roll that as +4.
You got it. +4.
Well, that's rolling. I'm assuming the rest of us are following and staying together, or did
Robin is definitely staying behind all of you because she wants to keep her eyes on everyone.
Okay.
So she's going to position herself to where she doesn't want to lose a single person from her sight.
okay?
And Fairuza is sort of like watching Robin watch everyone else. She's gonna swim up to like the entrance, but not go in.
Okay, gotcha. So you're all kind of hovering around the sort of smokestack captain's chair, area here, the steerage area.
I'm
go ahead.
following, but I know we had been told that there had been a fire here,
Yes.
right?
Yes, you
So
have.
I'm going to look specifically for areas that are burned.
Absolutely. Give me an investigation check from yourself as well then.
So if the two of them have moved in, I will also move
Okay.
into the room
Okay.
and light up wherever they are.
Fantastic. So Maeve, are you coming into the steerage, into sorry, not the steerage, like the captain's chair area to check for burning?
As I'm approaching, I want to
Okay.
kind of examine the outside of the ship to see if
Gotcha.
I can figure out where that is, and then I'll head toward where everyone else
Cool.
is.
All right, so starting with Silas, as you rifle through things, you do find, the laminated, or not laminated, but the sort of waxed cover, leather cover, let's say, to something, but the papers within have all turned to molted long ago. So you're finding a lot of that kind of things, little, again, mushy bits of what might have been maps at one point that had some kind of waterproofing on them, but have not survived this time. You do find some cutlery, some coffee mugs. There's even a mug that says, Polaris on it, branded for the ship. It's not particularly clean or well kept. Even the areas you can still see, where the salt air and now the salt sea are eating away at the iron of this ship.
Do I see any pieces of the window?
Like a piece of glass?
Yes.
With that roll, no.
Okay. That's probably better.
And they know.
Is that Polaris mug still usable?
It's got a chip in it, but sure, you want a Polaris mug?
Yeah, Silas, he watches all on over and wrap a couple of tentacles around and then start to drag it towards you in the hopes that you'll put it in a bag or something. Because
Oh, pillaging ancient.
And then if
ruins.
Silas could
Octopillaging,
talk right now, it'd just
Octopillage.
basically be like, "Oh, you want a mug, lassie?" And he's like, he's reciting that to himself.
So Maeve, what was your your investigation?
17.
A 17. The smokestack certainly has quite a bit of smoky, sooty residue on it, even that's lasted, and it's hard to tell. Again, all of this iron has completely patinaed over the years, but you are seeing there that could be natural. It could have been more hard to tell it as a smokestack. 17. Yeah, that's what you get with a 17.
Okay.
Nothing inside the captain's chair room.
Hmm.
That seems unblemished by.
I'm gonna point to the smokestack and signal, "Let's go look at it."
Cool.
Robin will see this, and Robin will point to the end of the ship where it's teetering kind of off, where it's
The prow?
off of off of the ledge, and she's just gonna cross her arms as the Jolly Roger to be like, danger, trying to signal that, don't tip the ship.
Does the ship seem like it's precariously balanced, or is
Not
it
particularly. It's been there
'cause
for.
it's rooted in coral and rock, right?
Yeah, it's lodged at the back. It's been there for decades. As you've as Fairuza noticed, there are these currents, and it seems to be kind of holding. But I don't think Robin's incorrect to say maybe we don't blast any fireballs.
Let's not rock the boat. Is what
As
what we're
soon as
saying.
Silas,
Yes.
sees the symbol, you see like just kind of his head cocked to the side, and he starts to swim toward Miss Robin, and then he tries to hug her.
I don't know what Robin does.
Oh my God.
It's bulky, you're both wearing giant, tubes.
I mean, it's
on
kind of
your
like an
back.
A-frame hug, just
Yeah.
kind of like. But obviously, that's what she wanted. So.
Regulators in your mouth.
Fairuza's like seeing this, and she just like in the water. She's like, but she's also aware of the fact that like time is ticking down. So she's like, if I was a psycho, where would I hide a piece of glass? Like, where would it be? And she's gonna like signal to everybody else that she's gonna swim closer to the bottom and just start like just feeling around the base of the ship. I don't know. Since
Okay.
everyone's doing things.
So
she's like, okay.
so not the main deck. You want to come back outside the ship and down to the bottom of the hull.
Yeah.
Okay. Maeve is pointing towards the smokestack. So the two of you are kind of, you'll be within sight, but you could potentially be, 30 feet away from each other as you go deeper. Now you do notice that, and Robin with her scuba training will say that going deeper is a lot easier and less likely to cause bends than going higher. The pressure, you take on the pressure a lot easier at those lower levels. The increments become smaller. So yes, within the 30 feet
Easier
of
to do a top to bottom search than it is to do a bottom to top search.
just meaning that as long as you don't go above 68 feet, which is kind of where this flying bridge is, you're fine to go lower and return to 68. So I'm actually giving you permission to explore this entire ship without worrying about depth. Cool. Yeah.
Because she's like thinking time is ticking. So
Yes.
she's like, maybe if we just split just a tiny bit, but not too far.
Okay. So Maeve, you're up by the smokestack. Fairuza, you point down and turn to swim lower towards the bottom of the ship. Who wants to join who? What are the rest of you doing?
At the moment, since it looks like Maeve is going alone, I will follow Maeve.
Okay.
So Maeve, you suddenly have an octopus halo over your head, and I will just be following you like a familiar.
Would Robin
I will wait.
would Robin happen to know if like cargo areas led into the rest of the ship, or are they like their own compartments only accessible through these grates?
You can give me a history check.
Great. 19.
19. So you know that the cargo holds are kind of their own space.
Okay.
They're not generally, especially with this kind of thing. In fact, they're hard to even access other than by pulleys. These are usually large loads that are going down. They don't really need people in the cargo areas. So the areas that would have had people in them are going to be connected to that flying bridge. There, you can remember that probably the crew quarters is going to be in that front, in the forecastle, in that the interior area of that the prow of the ship.
Okay.
The area that you
Yes.
danger about.
Great.
Is probably where crew quarters would be.
So kind of as that's going on, Silas pats Miss Robin on the shoulder, and then and then just start swimming toward. Again, Adam is having a hard time visualizing this, but I
Gotcha.
am trying to get to wherever I think people were. So it sounds
People
like the
were.
three-quarters that you were just talking about.
So yes, so there's the four quarters up front. Also the you're in the captain's chair. There are stairs that lead down to doors to like the middle, the ground level.
If
the
I'm
main deck
there, I'm
level.
going to check
You want to
that
go there
first.
first? Okay.
Yes.
So Maeve and Octopus Neb are going to the smokestack. Robin seems you're keeping kind of an overview. It sounds like looking at the whole ship. Silas, you're going to come down and try to enter into the main deck, quarters here. And Fairuza, you are swimming down to the hull.
I think if Robin sees Silas disappearing into the ship,
Yes.
She's gonna go.
Okay,
and
so
keep
you're
an
going
eye
to go
on him.
with him. All right,
Mhm.
so yay, split the party. Here we
Look at us.
We only have like 20 minutes.
Not just split, trifurcate.
Trifurcated,
Yep,
yes.
yep.
Yeah.
Every time we split the party, it's just going to be a little bit more. Soon you're going to have to deal with 5 of us all on our own.
The whole thing.
Then we can't scream.
No, you can't.
Oh gosh.
Underwater, no
I mean,
one can hear you scream.
Can
We can't
octopus scream?
I don't know.
We'll find out, I
Yeah,
guess.
they can go. Let's start. We'll go from the bottom up. Yes.
But with
Fairuza.
eight arms.
Yes.
So that's a lot more.
It's just a lot of wavy tube men flailing, basically.
We'll go from bottom up. So we'll start
Okay.
with Fairuza down at the bottom here. So Fairuza, you swim down towards the bottom of this hull. You can see really it's kind of almost right in the middle is where it's sort of hanging off this edge, the back half of it lodged in the rock. As you swim, kind of looking at the side that is mostly in the rock, you can see there's damage towards the back of towards the front back. Towards the back of the ship where the rocks are, where it hit the rocks as it sunk. There is damage back there. And this is also where you can see again this propeller and a 4-bladed rudder lodged at the back. Towards the front, it looks pretty good and secure, but I'm going to ask you to give me an investigation check.
Oh boy, I should be good at this. 7.
7.
Rolls are bad.
All I'm going to say is that you don't see damage that you think could have caused this boat to sink. It looks solid to you.
And this is a big boat, right? How
180 feet long.
Okay. All right.
Not huge, but a significant ship.
And there's nothing so we don't see any damage at all. Like nothing externally caused it to sink.
I mean, not on this side of the ship that you are investigating.
Oh, so I should probably swim around the other side. That's gonna take me 30 seconds, maybe, if I'm swimming fast.
You can swim your speed. You can
Yeah.
go 30
Okay.
feet, which is as wide as the thing is. So
Okay,
you're
yeah,
gonna come
she's
around the
gonna
other side.
Yeah, she's gonna swim right around the other side as fast as she can without exerting herself.
As you are the largest, tallest member, you do
Yeah.
need the most air out of this. So if any of you were watching, and I don't think you are, Fairuza disappears below the ship. Fairuza, I'd first like you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom saving throw.
Mhm.
Okay. Are you kidding me? A 2.
No!
I'm not using digital dice any longer because this is crazy.
You feel the water shift quite quite intensely. It pushes you actually in the direction that you want to go, pushing you even a good 10 feet away from the ship. As you're sort of pushed over to this side, on this side of the ship, you now see clear as day a huge, jagged, burnt line down the side of the ship on this side, almost right down the middle, to the point now that you look at it, yes, there is a structural seam here pretty much right at the precipice. In that moment, you begin to see this greenish glow all around you. And as you look down, you just see this greenish pulse of light from down below. And in your mind, you hear, hello. And we'll come back to you. Coming up to Silas and Robin, you are in the middle section of this bridge in the middle.
Far away from the other side.
Far away from that. Yes. As you go around and look for some of these doors are fairly easy to open. They're not super watertight because they were meant to always be above above water. So, you know, they have regular sort of handles on them, but they are closed.
I just literally go around opening as many as I can.
Okay.
Neb's octopus light is going to go out, I'm afraid. Because Silas, without even thinking, starts touching doors and setting them alight where he can see into a room.
Gotcha.
At first, I'm not. Every time I cast that, it's going to replace it.
Gotcha.
But it means that I am not looking intensely in any of these rooms. I'm doing like a broad sweep at first and trying to get to as many rooms as I can.
So the first door that you go to and, press the handle down, it swings open, against the pressure of the water. It takes a little bit, but you push it. You can see kind of a hallway with an open door beyond it, which looks like kind of a little living quarters, and stairs going down on the left.
So what other avenues do I have in front of me?
so nervous to do. Sorry, yes. So in this main space, you can go forward into a smaller kind of cabin looking room, or you can go downstairs.
Okay. I'm going to quickly go and try to open the door for the smaller cabin area and tap the doorknob with a light.
All right.
I can try to see in there.
Go in, you open the door, it is locked.
I am going to just take a step back, see if I can secure myself on anything in the wall.
Sure, there are pipes and tubes and everywhere.
I'm going to get a really, really good brace, and then I'm going to just kick it.
Fantastic. Strength check, please.
Can I use athletics or just strength?
You can use athletics, yes.
And this is the moment that Silas becomes a water thief.
And nice. That's going to be a dirty 20.
Yeah. It's an old metal door that's been rusting away, and even though there is a lock, you get your foot right in the pressure point, and boom, that thing flies open. It's hard to get a good, push on it, but using the bracing, you're able to, use your muscles to really do it because gravity's not helping you here. The door bangs open against the side wall, and you can see that this is indeed a small cabin. It is fairly nicely appointed. You can still see, even though barnacles and things have all grown up over it, a fairly ornate desk, a sort of small built-in sleeping area. Even little bits of like the coils and the mattress are still there.
If it looks, so I imagine it is still somewhat small, right?
Yeah. These are not large rooms. Yeah. I'm
going to rifle here as well.
Investigation.
That's +4 if you could roll it.
Got it. You find a pair of leather shoes, like leather boots, that are still, they're not in good condition or anything, but they've survived. You find some metal pieces, one of which says Admiral upon it.
I take that.
You got it. Little sign says Admiral.
And that's all I find.
That's all you find.
All right, I'm going to turn back around. Is Miss Robin in the hallway at this point?
Yes. Okay, in the hallway. All right, so you are back in the hallway.
And then I'm just going to point to the downstairs thing and give thumbs up.
And Robin's.
Does she do a hugging sign again?
She's fighting Silas off.
Robin's very confused because the thumbs up means that you're going to swim up, but you pointed at the stairs.
And then when he sees the confusion, he's ultimately just going to go.
That doesn't help. You're walking. It's a swimming. Okay, fine. Yeah, there we go. All right. Robin will just follow.
Okay. So as Silas and Robin begin to swim down into the darkness of the floor below, we will move to Maeve and Neb at the smokestack. You swim up to this
Sounds like a
smokestack.
lovely couple. Maeve and Neb
Yes,
smokestack.
No.
smokestack. It's huge. I mean, this smokestack is 4 feet in diameter. It's even still got some of the cables that braced it are, some of them have snapped, but a couple are still attached, which is basically all that's keeping it up. You can see that even though it is a really strong, thick metal, this has also really been ravaged by the currents and all of the natural world that's trying to take it over.
You'll have to tell me at what point I lose my light, but I'd probably leave Maeve's head for a moment while I'm still lit up and perch on the edge and kind of look down the smokestack.
Yes.
With the light and my dark vision, what do I see?
So as you hover above the smokestack here, you can see a good bit. It goes down uninterrupted, because the whole ship is 30. This is probably another 15 feet above that. So even if you sort of let yourself sink 6 inches in to kind of block out the light from above, you can see that down further it takes a turn about halfway down the middle of the ship.
I'll swivel my giant eyes on this tiny little body towards Maeve, and one of my tentacles will point at the swerve.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll move like 5 feet in that direction and then stop and see what you do.
I'll swim 5 feet after you and stop and see what you do.
Okay, when it seems like suddenly you're following me, I will start to lead.
Great.
And then
your
all
light
of us,
goes out.
the light goes out and I stop.
I also stop.
You
because
watch
I
as
can
I
no longer see.
You watch as I look at my tentacles, confused. And then, can octopus shrug? I've got 8 legs. I've got 8 arms. I've got 4 sets of shoulders.
Got 8 shoulders.
Yeah, you watch as all the shoulders shrug.
I don't even know if I can see that happen.
Yeah, from where you are, it's almost like a well, right? I mean, you guys have swum 5-6 feet down into this smokestack. Is that what you done? It sounded like it. You were going down,
we
right?
started to go.
Yeah,
and then...
so you're like 6 feet in. It's like being in a well. It's super dark around you, but if you look up, you can see the blue circle of whatever light is filtering through the storm above.
Do we have any lights on our dive suits?
Glow sticks.
Yes, you do.
May I turn that on, please?
You do. You have a little light. It's attached to your shoulder. It has, it's a little switch that you can turn, and it's not a lot of light, but it gives you at least a luminescence right around you.
Okay,
Silas
I will
did
switch that on.
Okay, Silas did that. You got it.
No, he knew that they had lights, obviously.
Oh, geez.
While he was hugging Robin, he was just like, and we have lights. Okay, when I see that,
Yes.
I'll do the start to move towards the entrance again and see if Maeve follows.
All right.
And I'm going to be very extra careful at this point to not get too far away from her, because now we have much less light, and I know she
Fantastic.
probably can't see as well.
So you are all swimming to the bottom of the smokestack. Fantastic. We'll come back to you. Fairuza.
Okay.
Alone, looking at this side of the wrecked ship, there's a green glow from the darkness at the bottom of this drop-off, and in your mind you hear, hello.
Okay. Again, you're alone in the water swimming. You know your friends are around, but they're not close. And you hear someone say, hello. What do you do?
I don't
You
know what I
literally-
do, but I'm wondering what you would do, you hear in your mind.
And immediately, okay, hold on, let me check something. Okay. Fairuza's heart starts beating really, really fast, really, really fast. And she's like, okay, I can't panic. Because she's like, she starts treading water because she's a little bit of panic because she's like, we're in a world where dangerous things talk and attack us as well. So she also starts looking around to see if she can sense like where her friends are. And she's looking, she's like, calm down. And then she says in her head, Hello.
Give me a perception check about your friends.
Oh, 12.
You did not see where they went, but I'll give you that before you left, you did see, Maeve point to the smokestack, and you knew that you left Silas in the captain's chair. So you had a general idea of where they were,
Yeah.
not necessarily where they went. In your mind, this voice comes back. You're new?
I'm sorry, are you talking to me? This is
Why,
what she's saying in her head.
Why, of course. Who else would I speak with?
Again, Fairuza is just sort of glancing around like nervously. Where are you?
I am here.
Immediately, Fairuza starts looking around. And she instinctively just feels like her side. But her axe isn't there. I rolled and it's not there. It wouldn't matter anyway in the water. I don't know.
You didn't take your, you might not have it in your wetsuit.
So she's like, and she just lets her hand slide down her side. And she's like, can I ask you, what are you?
A friend.
She relaxes a little bit. But her hackles are still up, and her heart has started slowing down a tiny bit.
Do you want to play with me?
For some reason, I don't know if that's going to turn out well. This is what she's thinking. She doesn't say that. She just thinks that to herself, and she's like, okay.
It says,
leave.
I promise you, it will be fun. All things turn out well.
What do you want to play?
Come, swim, join me. Please make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh no.
Oh boy. Why am I using this 3?
You feel compelled to swim down into the darkness towards the green light.
Of course she does. She's like, you know what?
This lights underwater are always a good thing to swim towards.
Yes, but
Never
also,
a trap.
Yes, but also, Fairuza is starting to believe a little bit in the magic of this place. And maybe she's supposed to follow this light or whatever it is. Yeah. And she's like, maybe this is a Steve type. She's taking a leave of her senses back and forth, you know what I mean? Here and there.
You hear in your mind, what is a Steve?
And she's aware that this thing can read her mind. He's a friend as well.
I like friends.
Can I ask you one more question?
Please. I am curious about you, too.
I'm not going to hurt you, but I can get scared. And if I do get scared, I might.
Interesting. Come. Swim down.
Fairuza is going to take one more glance, like upward, where she knows the direction of her friends is. Look back toward the creature and say to herself, I'll just swim a little bit deeper, and then I'll come right back.
Good idea. Just a little, and a little more, and a little more.
Yeah.
And as Fairuza turns and begins to kick down into the darkness, we will return to Silas and Robin going down the stairs into the depths of this ship.
That was
As you get to that level,
I'm so worried about Fairuza.
I lost.
It's gonna be fine.
Can't think about that. I have no idea.
Nope.
Right,
Nope.
right.
This is fantastic. This is my favorite episode so far. All right. I get to torture
Having
you
us all separated
all
and
in,
all
like-
terrified.
in like super amazing specific ways. I'm so excited. I get to
Our
just
dungeon
terrify
mom,
you.
everyone.
I'm preparing you for the big bad world.
Oh,
All right, Silas and Robin, you get
Don't
to the
talk to
bottom.
strangers.
You get to the bottom of these
Particularly the
stairs
ones that can read your mind.
and live at the bottom of the sea.
She's a friend.
Silas and Robin. So Silas, either you are making things light up, or Robin, you would know about the little light on your shoulder that you can click on.
Silas eventually looks
Yes.
back and sees that she's got a light, and then he starts just tapping around trying to find a light, and eventually, hopefully, turn
Great.
it on.
So as you make your way down and turn into the sort of rest of this area here, this is clearly a galley of some kind. You can see some old benches and chairs and a little counter. There is some animal life down here, but it's much less. And again, very still. The water down in here, very dark and still. You're really well protected from all sides in this area. There are 2 rooms off to your left and 2 rooms off to your right.
Silas just turns to Miss Robin, and he holds his hands up, trying to make a gun on his shoulder kind of action, and he fires it off a couple of times, and then he goes off towards the rooms.
Which ones? You're going to go left or right?
Left.
Left. These 2 doors are pretty identical to each other. They also are closed.
Try to open them. Are they locked? They sorry, I
They're
cut
open.
out.
Sorry,
Open. Okay, yeah. Go
Great.
straight in and start rifling.
Rifling.
this
is another small cabin, slightly smaller and less adorned and elaborate than the one you saw above that had the admiral. Although now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should say captain, because this isn't a Navy boat. This is just a boat. So captain, you have a captain's.
Oh, I really
I
wanted the
apologize.
admiral.
Maybe it's a
Sometimes
novelty.
you got to roll the hard 6. No.
Sorry.
All right.
Just for the folks at home, he can, in your mind, Silas, it'll still be an admiral.
I'm just going to make an illusion and change it. I'm
There
going to
you
just
go.
take a Sharpie when we get out of this.
There you go,
if
and
we
you'll
get
fix
out of
it.
this. Yeah.
So you're looking at these. The logical interpretation is that these are officer quarters. They look exactly the same, mirror images of each other. First and second officer quarters. Give me an investigation check for these ones.
+4, please.
Oh, that's right.
I like
love
not
it.
being in the know where I can be confident about my
Yeah,
responses.
you get all the things. You start going through these areas. There's 2 sort of closets. Again, you're finding leather and metal, things like that would have survived.
Any admiral ones?
Nothing with
Okay.
admirals on them. No, I'm sorry. You do find a set of keys, though.
I absolutely take those because
bet
I've
you
played
would.
plenty of video games where every key is important.
Yeah, so you have a set of keys.
Okay.
There's quite a few of them. Let's say there's 8 keys on this ring. And that's what you find. We'll give for both of those rooms, rifling through both those rooms. Then there
Okay.
are the 2 doors on the right.
That's what Robin's going after.
Robin's gonna go look those. Are you gonna just open them up?
Yep.
Okay. One is a pantry. You can see old tin cans, tinned fish, things like that, just sort of on the shelves. Old, bottles of beer and things like that have survived and corked up. The other door is a water closet. Is a head, a toilet, a loo.
Cool. Not as interesting as Silas's side.
Silas
I mean,
eventually comes out and he's
Yes.
jiggling keys.
I mean, you haven't rifled yet. Maybe you need to
I know,
rifle.
you're
But
right,
it's the
you're right.
And
rifling.
hey, look, we have a bathroom at the center of our story with a mirror.
I mean, I'm sure that they would put the mirror shard down the toilet. I am sure.
Or in the
Worst
mirror
place imaginable.
spot.
Robin's gonna
Maybe?
look back at this
Yes.
main room. How big is it?
The like kitchen galley area.
Yeah.
This is probably 10 by 10. I'll give it.
And there must be another way out of this, or the stairs the only way back.
The stairs are the only way back out on this
So-
particular level. Oh no, wait. I'm no, am I lying about that? I am not lying. Yes, I am not lying about. Oh, hold on. Am I lying? I'm sorry. I'm looking at my very complicated map here.
Because we went
There
through-
is. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yes.
Okay.
There is. On either side of the counter, you can go out. You cannot go back like by the stairs, but you can go towards the front of the ship.
Okay. That's where Robin will head.
Okay, so over to those doors as well. Those doors have broken glass in them. It's shattered. It had that wire mesh within it to kind of
Oh.
keep it shatterproof, but
Mhm.
it is, still.
As Silas, I don't know. Am I assuming Silas comes out in enough time to see Robin
Yeah.
going kind of?
Yeah,
that way?
yeah, yeah.
So do I? If she left the door open and he sees any of the alcohol,
Mhm.
he is just trying to find something small. If there's any kind of spirit or anything that, because he is trying to secure a gift for Maeve.
Oh, that is a natural 20
Yes.
on your investigation.
So something old and expensive.
Yes, the labels have long since the glue has dislodged and they've melted away, so you have no idea what it is. But you have something that when you shine your light on it, it's like the color of Maeve's hair. It's like beautiful, deep amber red color to it.
I grab it. I put it in my
Yeah.
pack.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
going to try
You can
to.
even still see a little bit of the air trapped under the cork that has a strong wax seal.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Okay. And then you'll go join Robin as she begins to swim out onto the main deck.
Yes.
All right. We're gonna move over to Maeve and Neb going down the smokestack. You reach the bottom of this smokestack. Right at the bottom where it makes a turn, you've gone inside the ship. You've gone deeper, you can tell, than the main deck at this point. There is a grate at this point, and beyond you just see a huge empty space filled with coils.
The grate, is it, how big are the spots between?
Like 6 by 6. You could 6 inches by 6 inches. Octopus could slide through for sure. If Octopus wanted to.
Octopus wants a lot of things. Does Octopus see any way to possibly open this, or is this a permanent fixture?
Give me an investigation.
I would also love you to do that. That's a +5.
May I help with that?
Yeah, absolutely. What's your intelligence modifier?
+1.
This looks welded shut. Absolutely solid. This is not supposed to be an entry point. This is for smoke to escape someplace that is on fire. So this is not meant to come off.
I'm going to turn and make eye contact with Maeve, and you'll watch as one of my tentacles comes across where the neck on an octopus would be in a very quick motion.
Okay.
And then you see a shrug.
Okay. As in the out of air?
Oh,
Maeve
The
looks
octopus
puzzled.
is out of air.
Yeah, how much does Neb remember? She probably remembers some of it. I'm gonna say, at this point, she doesn't remember that that's an out of air sign, because why would an octopus be out of air? But then she'll shrug, and then because there's no other way to go down here, right?
You look into that space. There does appear like there's maybe an access hatch to this area, but even, with your dark vision and the little bit of light that you all have, just like you saw on the steam train, this is a coal burner, right? This is where they would burn coal, and the smoke needs to escape somewhere in order to heat the boiler that's then gonna make the propeller go.
And there's nothing about this that indicates abnormal fire, right? There's nothing here that looks like it's
off of that last investigation check. I will also offer, yes, this nothing looks like it's been compromised in that way.
I'm going to make eye contact with Neb and point back up.
she's gonna nod, which I imagine for an octopus is like most of
Flap.
her body,
Yes.
and then we'll start moving that way with you.
Like a parrot nodding.
Pretty much. Everything but the 8 tentacles moves in the up and down motion. She has no idea how ridiculous she looks, but it will then start moving in the upwards direction.
Upwards direction. All right,
I
you
will
all
follow.
start to swim to the top of the smokestack. As you get up there, you know the lay of the land up here. You're pretty high up at the top. You don't see any of your other friends. As of yet, Robin and Silas have not exited the galley.
So I know that Silas and Robin went in because I saw them go in and Maeve go up, and that's what
And
made me
Fairuza
want to
had
go.
said she was going down.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and so we don't see Fairuza.
Do not see Fairuza.
I don't know if I would expect to see any of them.
Ooh.
You'll watch as I like swim around in a tight circle, looking around, and then I'll look at you to see what you want to do.
And I sort of look from up here. It's a different vantage point
Yes,
of the ship.
I was
Do we
gonna
see
say.
anything different?
Yeah,
from here?
if you are intentionally kind of like trying to get a wider vision from up here, you can start to see the damage on the far side of that ship. Which if it prompts you to swim a little bit over that way to get a better look, you can see what I described for Fairuza, which is that a huge rip down the side of this ship. Really as if almost like lightning bolt, you know, slashed it into along the side there.
I am going to point and do the kind of let's go take a look.
I'll start moving in that direction with her
All
again.
right, we're all going to start swimming down that way.
Mhm.
Fairuza, you're swimming down into the darkness.
Mhm.
Very quickly, the light from the surface begins to dim. Darker and darker. Looking around now, all you can see is this green glow, this pulse. It feels almost common to you. You know, this is like sensory deprivation. People pay good money for this. As you get down, you continue to have that sense of a very large amount of water being displaced as something huge swims in the depths.
She's gonna think to herself and to whatever can hear her. Are you there still?
I am always here. You feel the pressure of the water push you about 5 feet as something enormous, a shadow with a slightly pale, fleshy, translucent look to it, glides past you. You count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You get all the way to 15 or 20 before the shadow passes. It then disappears again, deeper.
Do I know you?
No, but I know you. At least I think I do.
Fairuza's like racking her brain. She's like, maybe this is something I'm supposed to know, or maybe it's someone that we've met before, or something we've seen before. But she's like, her hackles are raised because she's aware that there are things in this water that she's not too sure about. But I thought we were going to play, she says, sort of frankly.
She says, in good time. Remember me. Listen for me. I will let you know when the game begins. Now, go back to your kind.
Should I bring them back with me?
You
Or-
will. In time.
Before you go away, are you sure you don't want to tell me your name?
What is a name?
I suppose it's the thing that people use to refer to you and call you, and a familiar sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, how else are you able to get in contact with people that you want to get in contact with? That's what a name is.
I have never had a name.
We will
They
give you.
sound fun. I would like a name. Give me a name.
Okay. Can I name you after something that I love?
What is love?
And immediately Fairuza's heart like just sort of breaks a little bit, because you remember her own sort of feelings about not being loved, and she's just a big
What is
sap.
this? What is this in your mind? I don't recognize it.
Well, love is a feeling that you have for something or someone else, and that someone else, or I guess something else, can have for you, more like something else or someone. It's a good feeling. It makes you happy. It makes you feel wanted. It makes you feel loved.
I want to feel. What is feel?
I think it would be easier if I could see you.
Again, the water rocks you as the gigantic mass of this creature swims within 5 feet of your face. As it passes, again, it takes now twice as long to pass by you. It is clean, white, translucent flesh. It is long and bulbous. As you look up and down, you can't see the bottom or the top of it. But as half of it passes, there is then another half that are long tendrils, long tentacles that reach for at least twice the length of its body until it disappears past you. As it does, it says, I have seen many like you, but no one like you. And I am older than the mountains, older than the sea. I think you are my favorite. I will talk to you again. And the light fades and begins to disappear.
Like, she just starts looking around for it. Don't go. Like, I and she looks around, and it's dark, and she
Pitch
realizes,
black dark. In fact, in this moment, you're not sure which way is up.
okay. She's like, calm. She looks up, and right then she's gonna think to herself, bubbles, bubbles. And she can cast thaumaturgy, bubbles. And she sees, like, she opens her eyes, and the bubbles start.
You can feel them. You can feel them on your face. You realize you were sideways. Without even knowing it, you were sideways in this water. You don't know whether this thing swam past you going up or down or how that worked, but the bubbles have told you that you actually need to right yourself and swim up. That is brilliant. As you begin to kick your legs, the light slowly comes back as you begin to see the bottom of the ship above you. It is now 30 feet to the side. Not only were you twisted, you had moved along the side with all of the movement of the water. So you are 30 feet away once you reach the bottom. And we will come back to you in a moment. Silas and Robin, You come out on the main deck. Below you is the fore cargo hatch. You can see these bars that go across. I will offer you right now, you see that they are covered in rust and barnacles. Ahead of you, this is sort of like a slightly lowered deck to the main deck. It's sort of a little quarter deck down. Straight ahead, you can see 2 doors that lead into the forecastle quarters, and then of course there is the deck above them. But on this lower level, there are 2 doors going inside.
Would these doors, to our knowledge, go into a deeper, different area?
Potentially, you know, as you said, you from your last check, you know that crew quarters, that kind of thing, are likely going to be in the front of the ship in this kind of an area.
Straight ahead towards
Straight
the 2
ahead.
doors.
You got those 2 doors. You gonna go for opening?
Yes.
Doors are locked, both of them.
Is there anything to grab onto here? I'm going to just try to process this quickly.
Yeah, again, there are always these sort of, handholds. You're going to do some strength.
I'm gonna try to kick it open
Athletics?
again.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And if not, I will pull out the keys and try to get a 1 out of 8 or whatever. So that's only a 16.
A 16? That's okay. First door, you're able to, get enough of a velocity on it and knock that door open. You come in through here and you see a lot of rubber that has survived. This has a lot of kind of rubber and leather items that are hanging here. In fact, one like fairly intense coat that is definitely like a really heavy canvas that has survived, almost like it's made out of sail material. More bunks.
But it's very, very bulky, I imagine.
Very bulky, yeah.
All
Big,
right.
bulky, insulated.
I'm going to rifle anything I can in there. +4.
Yeah. Going through, you find, now that you are familiar with steam operation, this is definitely the fireman's quarter. So you can see things that, items and things that they would have used and kept as part of their duties as the fireman.
Sounds like it didn't do them much good. All right, so then other door, I don't know what Robin's doing, but definitely.
Let's go, Robin. What do you want to be doing?
So these doors are to separate areas?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, I'll try the other door.
The other door? As you go over towards the other door, give me a quick perception check.
Can you make that for me? That's a +2.
Something catches your eye from the cargo hatch as you move your way over to that other door.
What is it? I look.
It looks like a blue ribbon.
Oh.
It's floating, just like this. And it begins to reach up through the bars, waving until it turns level, looking at you, or pointed towards you.
Does this quote ribbon look like a real ribbon, or maybe like a eel type fish or a jellyfish or a
It could be a tendril. You would, a jellyfish sort of tendrily, ribbony look to it.
Robin loves marine life. She will investigate.
You come over closer and it continues to just sort of wave. It's a little disorienting. It's hard to tell, anticipate its movements. As you come closer, it seems to almost kind of not touch you, but sort of move its way around your limbs and around your face, and sort of wanting to just sort of get the shape and the feel of you. As you get closer to that grate and look down inside, it's quite dark in that hatch, but you can see more of these ribbons dancing around. And in fact, once you poke your head over, more of them seem to kind of turn your way.
Robin's gonna back up slowly. Look over to Silas, waving to get his attention. And
whenever
Silas,
I'm done rifling,
as you turn, you're rifling.
Well, no, I'm saying
we did. Yeah, you're done. Right.
Yeah.
As you turn over to look at her, you can see that Dozens of these have come up out of the grate and are actually beginning to make their way around her body. And it's almost as if she hasn't quite noticed them.
Silas, like, does his hands like, and then he's like, W, T, you know.
What hand signal can I use here? Okay. Robin is going to do the two eyes, the two fingers on the eyes, and point at the thing.
Did they hurt her eyes?
Okay, and I think Robin at this point is gonna do the cross thing again with the Roger, and she's gonna start swimming away.
As you start to swim away, are you going slow? Or are you trying to make some speed? What is your...
I think at this point Robin is feeling a little uneasy. Let me double check that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, she's feeling uneasy, and she's gonna cast Expeditious Retreat.
Got it. Okay. As you like bat out of hell somewhere, these things attempt to kind of coil around you, filling in the space behind you. I have a 13 to hit.
That does not hit.
Does not hit. As your flipper flies, it just closes in around the space where your body once was. As you leave little air bubbles in your wake, it kind of wraps around itself. And Silas, as you're watching this happen, you see a little zitz, zitz of light kind of spark, and then the tendrils pull themselves back down.
Okay, but it looks like at least right now the tendrils are not free acting. It looks like they are tethered to something that is theoretically trapped in this thing.
Sure.
Okay. So Silas is going to slower start to go over to where Miss Robin was.
Yes.
Can I get to the door without the tendrils getting to me?
You don't see them now. They've disappeared into the darkness of this hatch.
I'm going to try to open that other door just in case.
All right. Go on over. It is locked.
I'm going to pull out the keys.
Okay. Which one do you want to use? 1 through 8.
Number 3.
Doesn't work.
Number 2.
Doesn't work.
Number 4.
Doesn't work.
Number 7.
Doesn't work.
8.
You got it. It took it took you a minute of time, but you got it. You find the 8th key, slide it into that keyhole, and it pops open. This space is messier. There's a lot more sort of personal effects. This room has what you think there's old, even rope that has still survived, almost as if perhaps hammocks were slung from wall to wall. It reminds you of the bunks in the C lab, like multiple to a space. There are sort of bolts on the columns that sort of mark that these would have been 3 deep.
I'm gonna rifle.
Gonna do some rifling.
+4.
You find a lot of junk.
Yeah.
A lot of it, some of it's like rocks and seashells and things. There's a ship in a bottle that survived. You find, a lot of kind of some coins. There's some money if you'd like to take some coins.
No, I already have bunches of that.
Gotcha.
So I will get out of there like super carefully.
Gotcha.
And try to like back near the wall, like come out as far right as I can to try to slink away from whatever's in that cargo area.
Robin, where did you expeditiously retreat to?
The other side of the door he opened.
Okay. So the across the ship to starboard rather than port. Okay, cool. So Robin, you see Silas come back out after rifling through that room. Now, at this point, I imagine Maeve and Neb, from your vantage point, you would have seen them maybe coming out of these rooms now that you're kind of up there and paying attention.
Do we see them if we take a moment to just?
Yeah, if you took a moment to sort of gauge your surroundings. I have the impression your focus is actually mostly on that grate, though.
Yeah, definitely. Whenever we do see them, we are going to, or let me rephrase it. Silas is going to just simply start like making big motions, and like he does not remember this at all because he thinks that's a hug. So he's just like, cut thing, like, which is your air. But he's
Again, Maeve checks her air gauge and is like,
yeah.
Maeve, when you check your air gauge, you're about half gone.
okay. I point to it and I do 1/2.
Matt?
Fraction?
Robin's gonna just ignore Silas for a moment, and she's gonna look up at them, and she's just gonna point her thumb down a couple times.
And we are below where they are, right? Because the slash on the side of the ship is.
Oh, because you swam down to it,
we
or
were
you
swimming down.
Okay,
Yeah, we were heading in that
you're-
direction.
You're
Yeah.
coming back up, or as you were looking at that slash, you could see them towards the front of the boat, and kind of able to see them. So yeah, you'd be looking up towards them on that main deck.
And I'll signal, come towards us.
This way.
Okay. Robin will.
All right.
Silas will start swimming that way,
All right.
leaving a wide berth
Mm-hmm.
to whatever tentacle land is.
You got it. So as you swim down towards this, now the two of you see this huge slash in the side of the ship. Fairuza, you've just kind of emerged from the darkness about 30 feet away. From your vantage, the others haven't seen you yet because you're kind of coming up out of the dark. But you can see the four of them begin to come together in front of the slash in the side of the ship from where you are. Yeah, go ahead.
She sees them and then she sort of speeds up without exerting herself. Just sort of speeds up as much as she can and like places herself like square in the middle of her friends. And she looks around to see who has like the smartest face right now.
Smartest face.
And she looks right at Maeve.
Good choice.
And you, Maeve, you see that Fairuza's eyes are flashing. Not angrily, but they just had like sort of just like, and she goes,
In your mind, Fairuza, you hear, this game is a surprise. And you feel very compelled to keep this experience to yourself.
and then she looks at Maeve again and smiles and goes,
And I go and I swim over to Robin and I show her my air gauge.
she has more math problems.
Yes.
-5.
And then as she gets closer to Silas, Silas is like,
I don't want my number 2.
If octopus could roll their eyes, it's googly eyes right now.
my goodness.
As this is going on, we're right next to
Yes.
this gash, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
you are.
I don't want to go in, but can
Okay.
can I like look through it just to see into the ship?
You can. As you look through, it's not really wide enough for a person to slide through this gash, but you could do it again as a little octopus. It's 8 inches, 6 to 8 inches. It's still pretty, pretty there. You can see that the metal looks just rent, right? I mean, almost like a can opener had been taken to it, and again, a lot has been sort of destroyed over time, so it's hard to tell what really would have caused it. As you look through into the darkness, again, based on your steam engine knowledge, you believe you're looking at boilers and pistons.
And when you talk about a can opener, from the outside or from the inside?
Yeah.
Investigation check, please.
I have a
Plus
+5 on that, please.
5.
Yay.
Too much time has passed. The barnacles that have grown up around it, the water coming in and out. There are places where it's bent in, places where it's bent out. You're having trouble determining that effect.
Okay.
Neb, you're still an octopus, right? Though you haven't changed back yet. Okay.
Nope, still, I'm just not glowing anymore, so I might be a little harder to see. But at this point, if you look at me, I'm perched on the side of the boat, just like looking through the gash. But she's trying not to go through. She's trying to stay with her friends, so she hasn't moved inside.
Okay.
First is gonna try to like, I guess, figure out where to make eye contact with you. Because she's like, where the eyes are? Yeah, the eyes are there, I guess, over here on the octopus. And she's just gonna be like, motion,
if I see you trying to look at me, I will intentionally turn. And she's like hanging upside down, so you just see, and you see the little beak. Neb thinks she's smiling, but it's just her beak going.
That's so cute. And she's like, she motions like, did you guys find anything?
0.
How much time left?
You want to look at your dive computer?
No.
No.
Yeah, I do. I'll look at it.
So you're 3/4 of the way through.
Oh boy. She looks at Fairuza looks at all of you and just like.
I mean, can we see it? Like,
Yeah,
can we, like,
if you can show it, yeah, you can read it if she shows it to you. If you get over there.
Robin will obviously do a slash across her throat and say, "Time to go."
Okay.
I'll unstick from the boat and start to move in the direction of
All right.
back to
Fair.
safety.
Oh, Robin definitely comes out in front of them and does
Yes.
a Jolly Roger and points and does like a little tentacle dance. So keep wide.
Of that hatch. All right. Well, we'll say you go around the other side of the smokestack so that on the aft side, closer to the rock cliffs rather than closer to the prow. As you swim over that side, there is another cargo hatch for the aft hold back there. There is also this longer section that connects to the smokestack. So you did the sort of flying bridge in front and then the forecastle. But there's another section with doors back there that you have yet to explore. Obviously, the cargo hatch in front and back are unexplored. But as you fly over and try to get a main look, other than that and the propeller area, those are your sort of things that are yet to be looked at.
Can a question about the logistics of oxygen tanks?
Yes.
Is there a way to refill them?
Not
At the base.
Not at the lab. You did not see anything like that at the lab to refill. No. But you have 10 more.
We had 10 total. The
Oh,
four
I'm
of you
sorry,
would
10
have.
total.
Yeah, we had 10 total.
six
The
left.
4 of you would have used yours. I haven't used mine yet because I've been an octopus this whole time. So there's still 6
We
full.
still have a
ones.
couple of trips left in us.
You do.
At least one.
At least one. And give me just an intelligence check, Maeve, since you're thinking about this as you all swim back towards the sea lab.
19.
A 19. Oh, you roll so nice on that side.
Nice rolls.
Your feeling is you could potentially extend the time of your oxygen tank if you chose to hold your breath in between puffs. You could add, as long as you're capable of holding your breath, you could add that many minutes. Take a breath, hold, take a breath, hold,
That's right.
and potentially extend your time.
Okay.
Robin, you are also aware that, you have been training and swimming and scuba diving. You can hold your breath for a good long time. You've trained that a little bit in your lungs. The rest of you probably don't know how long you can hold your breath, but that would be a way to extend a trip.
Robin will. So you said there's basically 2 places we have not checked. Is that what you were?
The 2 cargo holds, and then the basically the raised deck in the center that's not the flying bridge with all the things that you and Silas just explored.
Robin will stop and look at Silas and shrug and kind of do his hand signal of the walking. And he does. Okay, thumbs up. Great. Okay.
And Silas is going to. I am going to try to internalize how far I saw the tentacles come out. From to try to grab Miss Robin, and then I'm going to try to swim, 5 feet higher than that.
Okay.
Over the cargo thing, and try to just hold my place somewhere.
Okay.
And then I am going to reach out with a telekinetic force.
Yes.
And try, because this can do whatever a person can do within 60 feet.
Yes.
So I am trying to, when I cast it initially, though, I want to cast it inside the grate.
Okay.
And then I want to basically try to clear out tentacles, to try to get a view of anything that I can down there, and start to telekinetically rifle as much as I am able to do so within 60 feet.
Robin would like to help with this.
Okay.
Robin sees what he's doing and is going to swim above him.
Okay.
And then her 3 dancing lights
Nice.
will appear and float down into it.
Okay.
Nice.
Silas, you cast this thing down in the darkness. So you're not even quite sure where it is or what it's interacting with, but you just with your mind start to reach out into this space, almost as if you were groping through a dark room physically. Robin, as you hover above him and your lights float down through the grate into the space below, it begins to light up. And this is the cargo hatch in the front, the four holes here.
Where the tentacles came from.
Where you saw those, yes. You illuminate a large, half of the ship essentially down there, or a third of the ship cargo hold. There are large boxes and crates that are still somewhat contained. A lot of them are wrapped in canvas. You really can see this is, well packed down here with lots of different parcels. As the lights float down, and as you reach out your mind, finding the different ropes and things that have, found these, a face appears, kind of hiding down within those boxes. Blue, tenderly tentacles surrounding them, almost as if a dress or a gown, a robe, disappeared into tatters and became these tentacles. They reach around this face. The face is very hard to see. It's almost translucent. You can see the organs within, brain, esophagus, everything inside this translucent flesh that has grown over the mouth so that it cannot move, over the eyelids so they cannot close. And it just looks up at you.
Do we all see this?
Depends. Right now, it's just Robin and Silas looking in the grate. Fairuza,
we were
and
headed
Maeve
back last
were going
time.
back. I don't know what
knew.
the octopus was doing.
I think as soon as the 2 of them stop and the lights start to go down, I think I would have stopped.
Okay.
To see what's going on.
I guess I would have too.
I will allow it. You're all just sort of watching them do this, and maybe when you see them go, you lean over to take a look. So
I imagine the 4 of us, and Robin's looking over Silas's shoulder, and the other 2 are looking over the other shoulder, and then the octopus is just on the other side.
Shot
of the
from
feet.
below is through the grate. It's
through the grate, the square of
just looking down, and through the grate, you just see this face. It looks vaguely feminine to you. And as you see it, it seems to just disappear down into the shadows of the boxes.
This is a weird question, and Adam just really has no idea about this. So with this oxygen mask on,
yes,
I understand that no one else around me can hear me.
Mm-hmm.
is there the possibility that words could be spoken that would just happen in the mask?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you can take your regulator out and use your lips, and you can make noise. And those people fairly close to you could hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
It's just saying that while your mouth is on the regulator, it's hard to.
got it.
Yeah.
So at this point,
Mhm.
I am going to take it out and
Yes.
I am going to speak the words
Yes.
and actually with this, no one else will hear this except this creature
Okay.
that we just saw down there.
Okay.
And I am going to say,
Is that innate or do I make a save?
there is no save.
Okay,
It's
that's fine,
just
just
a
checking.
message,
Got it.
message cantrip.
Yep. Gotcha.
And the target hears the message and can
Gotcha.
reply in a whisper that only I can hear.
Yes.
And let's see, I'm trying to see what the restrictions are. There are no restrictions on how
Okay.
much I can say. It is
Wow.
a cantrip.
Really?
And so, I mean, it
25.
just says whisper a message.
Right.
Message is pretty good.
Yeah. And so, so basically this isn't sending, this is message. So basically, I am just going to say, hello, we are not here to harm you.
And it can reply.
It can reply in a whisper that only I can hear.
Right.
No reply?
Well, no, I'm thinking.
Okay.
No, it's fine.
I was going to say
Ignores
something
you.
else. But
Dungeon mom needs a minute.
Yeah,
You say we're not here to harm you.
yes. We come in peace.
We come in peace.
Oh God.
And I make a peace symbol.
Oh my god.
A whisper in your mind replies, and you can't see her. She's disappeared into
No,
these shadows.
Within 120
I gotcha.
feet is the range.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
She says, "It's been so long. Please, don't leave me.
Are you trapped?
They're coming back.
Who is
Get
they?
to safety." How we can keep doing this?
It's a cantrip. I can
We'll just keep
casting
doing it.
it.
Okay, great. We'll just keep doing it.
I mean, I will in between casts. I will take a puff.
Right. So you're
Yeah.
still part of it. Gotcha. They will not want you here, but come back for me. After dark, they'll be gone.
Okay, can I ask one more question? Have you ever seen a mysterious mirror shard on this boat?
I know of what you speak. They protect it fiercely.
Okay. When we come back, can you tell us more about it?
I shall. Please,
We will be back for you.
don't leave me, please.
Wait, you don't want us to leave now? I thought you did want us to leave.
No, leave now. Come back later.
Yes.
Get out.
Understood. Sorry, I'm new with this magic thing.
You cannot help me. You're dead.
Yes, understood. All right, we're going to leave, but we will be back. I promise.
Thank you. Tonight.
Yeah, I thought it was already night, but that's fine. We'll calibrate our clocks. We'll be back tonight. Thanks.
So we don't know what Silas was doing. We just saw him
No.
standing there gesturing.
Well, and every once in a while, taking the regular out in bubbles.
Yeah.
and
So
then
it's
Silas
just a lot
starts
of-
gesturing, and he's just like,
I feel bad who listens on the podcast because this is hilarious.
and
Trying to describe as well, yes.
and basically, I'm just saying, get out of here now.
Get out of here.
Now, go.
Robin will translate as she's learned.
You speak Silas?
I speak Silas now.
So eventually, Silas is like, "Oh," and then he takes it out and he whispers
Mhm.
with this magic
there you go.
into
Oh
Robin's
my
ear and says,
God.
"Hey, I met someone. She apparently can help us, but she says we need to GTFO right now because something is coming back here, and she pretty much said we're gonna die if we don't come back tonight."
All right, Robin just turns to everyone, does the Jolly Roger across the chest, says time out across her neck, and uses all fingers to point back to the sea
All
lab.
fingers. Yes.
God.
Robin is such a good student. A plus.
Silas is not.
All right, so everyone's flippering back towards the sea lab, unless there's anything you want to do before that. All party. Hey, you're all together.
We did it.
Yeah, we're all together.
We're alive together. You're alive. You
Alive,
swim
yeah.
back. It is not nighttime. You all came out here during the day to do this. So it's probably midday, early afternoon at this point. You know, you haven't even been out here an hour. This is about a 45-minute trip, a little less. As you begin to make your way back towards the sea lab, back towards the moon pool, you dip down and break surface
Before
into the air. Yes.
And as we
octopus
do,
Nev.
Maeve sings, "Up where they walk."
The seaweed is always
spend
green.
like 45 minutes for that.
Big splash.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been waiting
Hair
the whole
goes back.
time just to make that happen.
Does Neb turn into a yellow flounder with blue stripes?
Please, oh please, can I? When we go back in, can we do that? Because I will transform myself to make that happen.
I mean, I can wild shape one more time as long as we're gonna get a short rest. But before we do,
For the sake of novelty.
for the sake of novelty, you tell Neb and she'll be 100% on board. But before everybody goes up,
Yes.
she'll swim in front of Robin specifically and kind of hover there for a moment, doing
Yes.
this until Robin stops.
Okay, I'll stop.
And then I'm very slowly going to look over at the rock that you would put the giant octopus in when it was tiny. And I'm going to start to swim in that direction, but I'm going to do the Lassie thing. I'll swim a couple feet and then stop and look back, and then swim a couple feet and then stop and look back. Swim a couple. Do you follow?
That Neb?
Yeah.
Timmy's down the well.
You know what? She's going to find out if this works in any form.
Robin will pick up what you're putting down and she will follow. She was probably in the back of the group, to be honest, because she's one of those who wants to keep an eye on everyone. So I don't know if anybody else saw this though, but I will follow you.
Okay. I'm not looking to go very far. And obviously Neb knows that she thinks this creature probably isn't small anymore. She thinks. But she doesn't know how long this takes to get big again. But she wants to explore the rock a little bit and see if there's any indication of her potential new friend.
Yeah, go
acquaintance.
ahead. We'll do an investigation of this rock.
Sure.
You're
So
plus
+5. You're doing all the rolls today, so why not?
I'm rolling really well for you guys. So I'm pleased to do it. So you get down there. There are no octopuses in here any longer. You also don't see any like damage though. Like you don't think it like burst out of this thing when it got big kind of thing either.
Okay, that's good.
There are some crabs living around this rock, and you can definitely see that fish and things have been eating at it. This has been home to a lot of different stuff, and as you begin to look around, a lot of the rocks here have hidey holes and homes for things in this area.
Okay. Not finding any sign of my friend, I'll come back out, and Robin, you will see 8 shoulders shrug, and then I'll start to head back towards the moon pool.
At which point we have our little mermaid moments.
Yay!
For some reason, I'm suddenly a flounder. You don't know why.
As soon as Silas like understands what's going on,
Yes.
illusions start like glistening water, like all the things start happening. all
Are we doing this? Okay.
He's completely down with that little mermaid.
Great. Then Fairuza will come up behind you and go, "Poor unfortunate soul."
Amazing. Neb does the tentacles behind you.
I was about to say, now I crawl out as the octopus and I just climb onto your shoulder first as you do that. I just wave a tentacle or two.
Oh, back in the moon pool room, you now realize how cold you are as you look at your hands that have turned color. The flesh on them is all pruny. You can take your regulators out and breathe this, heavy air again, and smell and taste the salt around you as you begin to wash off your equipment, get all the salt water off of it and yourself, and redress yourselves as you normally are. If there's anything special you want me to know about that process, we can move you through
anything
it.
significant you want to
Anything significant in your bathing experience today?
Your undressing experience? Anything?
No, but I think when Neb turns back into herself and starts to
Yeah.
undress, she will, just out of curiosity, double check that she hasn't actually been using the oxygen tank in some weird
has
way.
not. It
Okay.
is still nice and full, other than the little 5 minutes of testing that you all did before you went out. So yeah, those. Oh, Silas, you're muted.
As this is going on,
Yes.
the only thing that I would say is Silas, is kind of yelling out as people are, hosing off and everything. So I had a magical conversation. There's some kind of creature there. Miss Robin, I think, saw her too. So I'm not just making this up.
Oh, I
And,
saw her too. That was
Okay, you saw it. You saw it. Yes.
Yeah.
And so I spoke to her with magic. I think it was like a mind thing again, and she was really, really scared, and she was kind of confusing, to be honest, because it was like she was like, "Don't leave me," and I was like, "I will never leave you," and then she's like, "But no, like leave right now." And then I'm like, "Oh, okay, you want us to leave right now?" And it's because she wanted us to leave right now because something she kept saying they were going to come back. I tried to get what the they was, but she was being really, really obtruse with all that. And so basically, as that was happening, then I was like, okay, we need to get out of here because something's going to come and they're not going to like us being there. They're going to kill us. We were about out of air anyway. But then she said, you need to come back at night. I thought it was night down here because it's dark all the time. But she said, come back at night and then they won't be here. And then she said that she knew. Yeah, I don't know what the day was. I asked, but she, was obtruse. And then basically when that happened, though, when we come back, she said she knows about mirror shards, and she confirmed what I've been saying the whole time. She says they're like fiercely protected, masochists. Like, so all of that I've been saying is true. So they're like really, really hard to find places.
You had this entire conversation in
yes.
While we were.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Is that why there was all the bubbles going on?
Yeah, that was it. Hey, let me just try this. I'm not doing anything invasive, I promise. I'm proclaiming that. And then I just start to whisper where no one else can hear except Maeve, and I'm saying, can you hear me now?
Yeah, why are you whispering?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like I can like reach out and speak.
Oh, that was a mind thing. Oh,
yes, it was like a mind thing.
That was super cool.
Yeah, so I spoke to whatever this creature was, and this creature looked like kind of like mutagen man and the Ninja Turtles, like had their inside showing. And by insides, I mean not like under their clothes, but like their organs were showing. And so it was like, it was a really, really weird experience. But I think we need to go back because they said that they knew where mirror shards were.
And
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's great, but they also
they could have lied. Yeah. They could have lied. It could have been a trap.
Maybe.
Well, Fairuza is uncharacteristically quiet. Wow. I didn't really see anything, but I did notice the big gash in the ship. And is that where you saw the?
No, this was down in one of the cargo things, and I don't know if they were like trapped down there or what, but definitely said that they needed help. And I said, I didn't mean to sign everybody up for that, but I said we would be back to help them.
Wait a second.
Really quick.
This creature was attached to the tentacles that tried to attack me.
Maybe it was just like, you were going around saying that you wanted a hug the whole time we were out there.
Robin.
Fair.
I don't know if it was malicious or not. They might have just been lonely. I know that if I was hanging like on the side of a cliff or something, and somebody came walking by, I would probably try to grab their feet, like to just make sure that they knew I was there. So maybe that's what this thing was doing.
Really?
Well, listen, the first time we encountered Ivy, things were not easy and it was scary, and we didn't even know if she was looking for help or attacking us. And so maybe this is a similar situation, and where this is a creature that does need our help, but is also maybe dangerous.
That's true.
Oh, Maeve.
Silas. Oh no. Oh, Maeve.
You're Maeve.
You're muted.
Maeve comes out of the shower, toweling off her hair, saying, "Doesn't anyone find it strange that we keep finding these strange women?" And
Lying in ponds, distributing help.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. I got on this train and wrecked on this train with a whole bunch of strange women.
I mean, that's fair.
well, aren't you the lucky one?
Time will tell. Time will tell.
And how many of us were hanging out the side by ourselves the first night?
Okay, sure. Very, very strange.
So
Everybody's
grateful
strange.
you should be that we have some sense.
Everybody is strange, and this creature in the cargo thing was very strange. But I mean, I don't have any other lead on this mirror shard, and they at least said that, like, hey, they know what these things are and they know where they are.
I think.
Does anyone find it strange that we were told that the ship sank because of a fire, and yet the side is clawed in or out?
I took a look at that and I couldn't quite tell exactly what had happened. Like, I was trying to figure out, was there an explosion from the inside, or did something, happen from the outside? And whatever it is, it's a mess, and it's been a while.
They
so
probably had a silver room, and that's where the werewolf clawed out.
That's a big werewolf. That's a very big werewolf.
Yeah.
Here-
As
well-
someone. No, go ahead, Neb.
Here's what I'll say. Silas, you said that she said to leave because there was going to be danger and to come back at night, right?
Yes, she was actually pretty clear about that part.
I feel like if she herself was dangerous, wouldn't she want us to stay and do something right away? And why
She's a
have
nighttime predator.
I mean, maybe, but she was
Her
already
powers may triple at night.
maybe, but it feels like a weird way to trap somebody, is to tell them to go away first, so maybe that's an indication that she really does need help and is not.
Well, technically, I think that they said to stay first, but then said to go away. Yes. Like I said, that part was a little confusing, but I think the general gist was get out of here and then come back at night, because and that was the collective they, I think, were going to return.
They were going to return.
Like, while we were there right then is what she was trying to say, I think.
What could be protecting the shard? So
Fairuza, where did you go? When we came down to look at the side of the ship, you weren't there.
I wasn't there.
No?
No.
You showed up a few minutes later.
Well, I did swim down deep, super deep, to see if there was anything along the bottom, and I didn't really. And Fairuza just sort of, I mean, if you don't, it depends on how well you know her, but she sort of just a side eye, and she's like, I didn't really see anything other that was weird. But did the creature say anything about wanting to play Silas at all?
To play? No. Where did that come from?
Just a thought. I don't know. Just
It's like, oh, hey, like, you're in mortal danger. They are going to return and kill you, perhaps. But hey, would you like to play some poker? No,
The most
that did not
dangerous
happen.
game.
well, I don't know. It's just a thought I maybe had about the creature that you saw.
All right. Somebody check her for some shards somewhere, or little eye splinters. Like, do you have an eye splinter in your eye again?
I just find it weird that this creature was so verbose with you talking.
Well, yeah, it's magic. Like, that's what I'm saying, is like, I didn't realize that I could talk like that, because until like I
Maybe
really,
you should
really
try
needed
talking
to.
like that instead of using whatever signs you were making up.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting at, is that if I had known that I could do that earlier, I would not have been so confused while we were out there.
And so
And I hand him the
same
sheet
for us.
anyway. Again.
Listen, I don't know what it is. I can remember almost every line in a comic book, but when it comes to stuff like this, it's just really hard for me to remember.
It is. And I
Also-
find it bizarre that this thing said for you to stay and then go away and then come back.
Well, that's
Well, I think that was just kind of the heat of the moment kind of thing. I
Oh.
don't think it was like a maliciousness. Just sometimes, sometimes conversations can be a little messy and sometimes miscommunications happen. I don't think that part was intentional. I was just a little confused for a second. But by the end of it, I got very, very clear that it was like, get out of here, but then, hey, come back when it's safe.
And it spoke English.
Well, that's what I'm saying is I think it's the magic. It's kind of like when you get into the TARDIS or you're near the TARDIS.
You have a universal translator.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think that
I mean-
magic performs that role.
I mean, Steve spoke English and Ivy spoke English and
But they
What if
don't-
we're not speaking English?
well, at least we're speaking all the same
Underwater.
language.
Oh.
I mean, the rat
Well-
spoke English, but that's when
Well,
I was a rat.
what I'm thinking is maybe that was one of the people who was on the ship.
A
You think,
jellyfish
Maeve?
person?
If they
Oh. You
speak
think they were a
English, where else
jellyfish
are they going
person?
to learn it? I can understand people living in places where people regularly speak the language, but underwater,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're
If
not
she
going to
was-
hear the language.
So this might be a ghost who was on the ship when the ship sank. She was alive on the ship, it sank, died, and now is haunting
Or
and
changed,
stuck.
transformed.
Yeah, and now
Well,
stuck in the
Miss
ship.
Robin, did you feel like it actually touched you with a tentacle?
No, I think it was just curious mostly. Maybe a
No,
little too
what I'm
curious.
asking, what do we think it was psychokinetic, like it needed to be busted like a ghost? Or do we think it was like, quote, real?
I think it was quite real.
So yeah, I think back to jellyfish person.
What?
Well, I
They
think
wants you to come back? Like a
all
date?
of this, we're going in circles. I think the question is, are we going back tonight?
I think we have no choice.
Yeah, we go
The
back.
shipwreck was part of the tour, right?
The
It was part
sooner
of
we get this
tour?
mirror shard, the sooner we can get out of this horrible,
The-
horrible
No,
place.
Fairuza,
It's just-
Fairuza,
the
I don't.
shipwreck was never part of the tour. Yes, the shipwreck on the sheet it says it's a bucket list location for scuba. So it's like really difficult. Private scuba divers might give it a shot at some point. No,
And we just thought we were going to roll up in there?
it's like we should go.
What were we thinking?
We're thinking we had Miss Robin with us who taught us what to do.
And I mean,
And
these
what-
professional scuba divers didn't know about the giant gash and all the horrible things that we ran into there.
Well,
what
I
are
think
we
the
doing?
professional scuba divers didn't have to deal with the jellyfish lady and all of the stuff that we've had to deal with, right?
You're probably right.
Probably a safe assumption.
Since
So?
we've entered into some bizarre dimension or whatever. So are we supposed to go back to did the thing say what time we should show up?
You said-
Just night. So it's like I wouldn't do it at like sundown probably. I'd give it a little bit. An hour after sundown is what I would consider night. But I'm
Mhm.
totally fine with what everyone else's interpretation is.
Oh, that's perfect. Then we get out, we get some tea, we have some food, and then we head right back in.
And we come up with a plan
All
before we
right.
leave.
Plan
because-
would be great.
because I can't understand any of your sign languages, Silas. And
Oh, hey, I did get these though, and I jingle keys.
Mm.
So I found these. It was kind of like one of those moments. I felt like I was pixelated for a moment, and I like spread my legs and raised my hand, but it was like the key, So
oh, you still have the cup. Did you bring the cup?
yes, here. Oh, and then Maeve, I got you something too, and I basically telekinetically float the mug over to Neb, and then I telekinetically float a bottle of something over to Maeve.
And I
thought you
look
might
at
like
it and
this.
I look for any label or indication of what it is. I don't find one and I crack it open anyway.
Yo!
Wow, straight toward. As soon as you do, I like wipe out the inside of the Polaris mug and I
And I go and pour, I pour some, yep.
Sanitized with salt water.
All right.
Well, and whatever's in this bottle.
Whatever liquor's in there.
I take a big whiff. What does it smell like?
Oh, it is strong stuff. yeah, a little bit of a that.
Oh.
You're pretty sure it could clean some pipes if you needed it to. Uh,
Are you sure this is a drink and not a solvent?
And Maeve goes,
I'm not
"Let's
really
find out,
sure.
shall
It
we?"
was right next to the bathroom. The closet was
We'll find out.
Everyone takes 30 points.
Yeah, I mean, it was over there by the toilet.
the
so-
water closet. So
Oh
yeah,
my
Maeve, you
God.
take a swig. It is strong but smooth. Oh, it is good stuff. It is definitely like keep you warm on a cold night at sea kind of thing. It is liquor for the long haul trips across oceans.
Oh my
You
God.
know, it's like it brings back, you know, memories of comfort and home and nights by the fire. It is some good, strong, warming stuff.
okay,
I
but
see your
not too much because we got to swim later.
But you're
Oh.
smiling. You're not. So it isn't solvent.
It's delicious.
I will take a sip and then pass around the mug. Well, you know, we need to celebrate somehow for our first diving expedition. So,
Right.
Sláinte.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I'll pass around the Polaris mug so everybody can have a drink.
Mm.
So as you are all, you know, warming up, towels wrapped around your shoulders, back in your comfy cozies, sitting in the observatory room, we'll poetically put you there, passing around a Polaris mug of some unknown lovely
Ooh.
liquor.
Well, hey, it was another trip where we didn't die. Look
Cheers.
at us.
True. That's
Mazel
true.
tov.
We celebrate. We're doing good, guys. We got this.
Goal.
Your minds start to drift to the quest ahead of you after dark as you begin to formulate your plans. And with that, we will end this chapter of Children of Éarte. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. And remember that life itself is the most wonderful fairy tale. Good night.